Well, welcome to today's episode. Today, we've got a very exciting guest, Lacey Kaelani. Lacey is the co-founder of MetaIntro, her second startup in the human resources tech space. She's on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list and raised $5.6 million in funding from sources including Near Blockchain, Aave, and Druid Ventures. For those of you just joining the podcast, we at Strativa AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. So if you'd like to learn how to take your business to the next level, be sure to stick around for future episodes. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word DM or just drop the word growth in the DMs below and we'll reach out to you. So Lacey, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and the journey that got you to where you are?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much for having me on. We just raised additional capital, bringing our total funding to about 8 million. So I got to fix that in the intro.
Nice. Okay. Congratulations.
We've been rocking and rolling. Thank you.
You're flying.
So MetaIntro, we're a job search engine that runs on open source data. We process about 600 million jobs per month and operate in about 120 countries around the world, have about 2 million users, and service every type of professional that's in the market. And as you can imagine, the conversation of AI in the labor market and within the resume is a hot topic, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But a little bit more about me. I've been working on MetaIntro for the past 3 years. We're a small team of 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that spread worldwide as well, or is it
is spread.
more localized? Yeah.
Spread, which I wouldn't have it any other way.
Why is that?
Because it gives you access to talent. I think COVID accidentally pushed us into a remote first environment, but it opened up the opportunities for startups to be able to rearrange how they hire and how they operate in terms of talent management. And we've been able to hire the most talented individuals in different places around the world. That's something that I don't think would have been possible / normal for a small startup pre-COVID. So I love having a remote team. Everybody has a ton of autonomy, and it also brings a lot of different flavor and perspective to our team culture. So it's great. I love working remotely and with a global team.
Yeah, fantastic. And so you mentioned that you just got some more funding. And so what would you say your goals are over the next 12 months, either in regards to developing the team even more than 7, or what's on the horizons next for you guys?
Yeah, so we'll be hiring a few people. I don't ever see us scaling beyond 15, 20 individuals before we look to acquisition. And that will primarily be engineering support for the foreseeable future. Our funds are going to be dedicated to growth within our enterprise product, our consumer-facing product, and scaling, taking over the HR tech space.
Nice. World domination.
Yeah.
I love it. And so as you've wrapped in AI to your services, is it something that's just kind of embedded within your services, or is there something that's kind of front facing that your clients are actually interfacing with?
Yeah. So our job search engine runs on a model. So a model that's like hacked together, both reliant on a third-party model and then an internal model that we've built. So our consumers interact with AI every day when they use our product, and our team interacts with AI because we use different tooling in the AI space within every part of our business, which helps us ship and build faster.
And you mentioned quite a wide customer base. Again, how many users did you say?
We have about 2 million.
2 million, fantastic. And so I take it that that's across many different industries as well?
Yes, across every industry, almost every industry, but from healthcare, tech, transportation, hospitality, you name it, we probably have somebody that's searching for a job in that industry on our platform.
Got it. And then are you also servicing clients in specific, like actual, companies? Or like you've got your user base, but then what's the end product or service look like?
Yeah. So I think you're talking about our enterprise product. Our enterprise product services government workforce development programs that need to track a specific cohort of job seekers that go through the program to be able to measure the ROI on the program. So it's our consumer product with a really incredible, powerful data dashboard that's put on top of it. And that's where a majority of our revenue comes in, is through those enterprise clients. But government, any type of career center that needs to track program ROI. So career centers at universities, local, state, etc.
And how do they find you? Or
Yeah,
do you go out and find them?
we go out and find them.
You find them.
As a early stage business, you're looking at the head of sales.
Hey, all right. That's great. How's that been for you?
It's great. It's different when you go out and you're selling something that you don't know has product market fit quite yet, but when you have product market fit because you're talking to customers and your product solves every problem. And it feels like the immediate question after is, okay, how much? Like, what am I paying? And how quickly can you integrate? And so in the beginning, it was, you're navigating in the dark. You're just trying to find a match for your product, or you're trying to build a product that matches the type of customers you want to go out after. But after we found our first few clients, we knew we were onto something, which makes sales much easier.
Indeed. And so when you've been integrating the AI, what sort of cultural or organizational barriers may you have experienced as you've developed it within your company?
Yes, I think there's a few. Granted, we're building in the AI space, so the genuine curiosity for AI across our team is like normal. It's like reading the news. Our engineers, our team is constantly on Twitter, seeing what people are rolling out. They're naturally testing products on their own time or company time. It's totally fine. And so I think we kind of have a veil over to we're just so in it that this is our space. We love being in it. Like, we enjoy seeing what other people are building. We enjoy testing other tooling. But the barrier for anybody, whether you're building in the space or not, I think is documentation and use cases, and just limitation on how far you compress these models. So you really need, depending on how advanced and where you're trying to integrate it, you either need somebody that can kind of imagine, if you will, and imagine where the product can go and where it can fit, and push the product into that bucket, or you kind of just stuck with what you're given. And a lot of these AI products break. They give you kind of crappy outputs. But if you're building kind of like how we are, and you have engineers that are naturally curious about it, I think they're a little bit more patient and excited because they can see the potential of where these products are going.
Yeah, 100%. And so how do you balance the automations of it all, right? The capability of AI with maintaining the human touch aspect of it in regards to the customer interactions?
Yes. So we use AI to build, but we never ship blindly. And whether that's in sales or onboarding or content creation or investor relations, all the way to engineering, AI touches every part, and AI helps us get to the decision faster. But there is always a human touch before we deploy. And I think that's very important because, there needs to be somebody. I don't think we're, as an industry, at a point where and especially when you're building a business, that you could just ship blindly. I think that's a bit irresponsible to do that. And I don't think anybody does that.
Yeah.
But it helps us get to that decision faster. So I encourage our staff to use AI all aspects of what they do to be able to do what they do better and faster.
And so I guess in the two aspects, either working with your enterprise partners, is that just number one, is that just relationship side, or is there some sort of interface that they have with your tech? And then also for your user base, right? The 2 million, is that all tech-based, or is there a human interface where they're, I don't know, working with some customer service rep or anything like that? Or once they're on the platform, are they just off to the races because you've deployed the AI effectively, and the human can step out of the relationship with the user?
That's a good question. There's no human involved in any part, both on enterprise or consumer side. In the event that you reach out to customer support, there is always a human on the other side. But I will say there's always a human watching. So whether we're watching through the data and our analytics and our user sessions, or we're chatting with customers, there's always a human around. And because we obviously are still in the early stages of building our product, and nothing can replace talking to a user and getting to know like how they use the product and what their use case is. But as much as possible, we let the product do the talking. And I think we've built a good help desk library, and our product is pretty intuitive to use. But, we still talk to people. Just you have to email us or tweet us.
Sure. Okay, nice. And I know industries like the medical health and wellness industry has compliance and regulations that they have to be concerned with, like HIPAA. And then, of course, in the financial tech industry, there's certain regulations. So being in your industry, I know you touch on and you help with people across many sectors, but are there specific regulations or compliance issues that you guys deal with specifically as it relates to the recruiting and staffing?
I think the biggest one to talk about is just how you store and how you use user data. Individuals on our platform have the option to opt in or opt out of us using their data to train. And obviously all of our data is super secure with all the best practices and security, etc., so that we can remain compliant. But how these products in general across our industry use user data is like a hot topic, and there's quite a bit of scrutiny just across the tech industry in general about how they use user data. And nothing's different for the AI space.
And Lacey, what have you guys done internally to automate your own business processes?
Quite a bit. You'd have to ask, give me a department, because I was at dinner last night with a friend, and we sat for half an hour of the conversation, just comparing what products we're using, which is always a great way to see how your friends who are builders, like how they use products, how they think about using them, where they're integrating in them. And it's just like a good knowledge sharing.
That's exactly the point of this podcast. It's like just sharing it all. So what was one key takeaway then? Either something that you shared with your friend or they shared with you? What was like one of the ideal tools, I guess you might say, or a key takeaway?
What tool? Yeah, I think the winner of the conversation last night was Lemless. Lemless is fantastic. It's a email automation service. They run on LinkedIn's database, so you're able to pull leads and contact information. But a new feature that I've been playing around with, it's not like fantastic, but I could see where it's going, is it'll crawl, and I wish the amount of time that I've spoken about Lemlist, I feel like, I should get a shout out from the CEO on Twitter, but because I definitely tell my friends about it. They have this new feature where they have like an AI integration that finds leads for you, builds a customized email, and sends. Like, you just have to describe your ICP. So you say, I'm looking for people in the cruise ship industry that need a new food and beverage managers, or I don't know, something very specific. You describe the ICP, the industry, the problem you're solving, and then it'll go out and find potential leads, which is fantastic. So that's still very much in beta, but that's a whole sales team.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's funny. I actually have a team that September through November, they're tasked with exactly that. And I'll just say that there's like multiple seven figures worth of development team going into the same thing, where it's like the initial crawling out and researching, and then going all the way through, like not only having an AI SDR reply to emails, but like the booking and then the setting up, like all the way to like the complete, analyzing of the potential sales call that might happen with the individual, dropping them into a CRM for complete follow-ups, and, kind of soup to nuts, like a truly replacing a salesperson, not just in one aspect, but at the very beginning of biz dev all the way through to like, here's a client.
Yep. Here you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I think in sales, AI has such potential, but on the opposite end, and I don't know if you've seen this in your email inbox, I've seen an increase in the amount of outbound sales, like landing in my spam at this point. But I could tell as somebody who uses products that help with sales that these emails are, sent by other products that,
Yeah.
help with sales. And so, and doesn't make me want to reply, but I'm also, again, in the industry. So I think I'm a little bit more jaded, maybe to somebody that's not, they wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, you're probably a little bit more sensitive to it. And then also I feel as the, both the, we'll just call it the sending platforms are getting smarter, but then also so are the receiving platforms.
Yeah.
Whatever, email service they may be using, kind of like the spam filters are getting more sensitive as well. Yeah. And I think it's just a natural evolution, right? It's like people get creative, and so they've got to tell the tech to get creative too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. And so can you share a case perhaps, Lacey, where the AI has led to some unexpected challenges or setbacks and what you did to overcome those?
Yes. We use Claude. Our engineering team uses Claude. They use a few different, they play around with other models, but we use Claude to help us with production. And I think Claude still has a very long way to go in terms of, again, documentation, knowledge, etc. And it's very, as excited as we are, it's to be able to implement AI to help us ship faster and to be able to build entire, beta environments, etc. There's still a long way to go to be able to like blindly ship, like I was talking about earlier. And so what we've done to overcome it is just putting a human involved, somebody that's like reviewing the branch, the code, and, pushing it to our head of product before we're ready to ship. So again, I think the human intervention across all of the departments, across all of the, tooling that we use is just how you circumvent problems and errors.
And so as you guys are addressing those, what are some of the KPIs that are key in tracking your guys' success?
Sales, revenue, user growth, but you can see a direct correlation. I mean, if it's positively impacting your business if you're starting to see more inbound sales or inbound user growth and signups, and you can track it because there's transparency within the AI. You could be tracking it with different data tools versus like if you have a salesperson, that works 9 to 5, you're like, how do you track them aside from like watching their computer? I think it's the transparency is amazing, and there's no time technically spent because the products or the model or whatever tool you're using is working for you, aside from like setup time and monitoring, etc. But that's not a full-time job. Other KPIs that we track: user happiness, we track feedback, and then benchmarking against the industry. Are we continuously building in a space that we feel like we can continue to innovate in? Are we leading the pack? If not, where's our blind spot? That's not necessarily a KPI, but like temperature check. Yeah,
to help you with your strategy. And so do you have like a dashboard set up for more of the tactical what am I trying to say? Tactical points, those KPIs that are a little more. Yeah, we have a few different dashboards and a few different like data products that we work out of depending on like the use case. Our data overview for our user engagement is different than the, dashboard that we use for our engineering team and hours spent, etc. So we have a few different ones that we use that I check, I check daily because it's a temperature check, but that's just me. I don't expect my team to check that every minute. Yeah, well, it's great that you're on the pulse of it.
Yeah.
And so what does the next 12 months look like? You said roughly about like doubling the crew size, if you will, right? And what would you say like the the biggest challenge would be that you need to overcome in order to hit those goals?
Yeah. Ironically, hiring. Like, I know we're in the space. I know, it's all we talk
Right.
about, but it's our pain point like everyone else. Hiring is one of the most important parts of your business, and talent management, and how you continue to engage your employees, incentivize them, encourage them to grow within, the company and their career. That is the heartbeat of every single business. If you don't have good talent, you're not going to have a good product. It's like hand in hand. And so, like, recruiting, finding, individuals that are out there that want to be building in this space, have an appetite for risk, are self-learners, self-paced, enjoy autonomy, and are very skilled at what they do. And so that's hard.
It is.
It's hard.
Good help is hard to find.
It's really hard to find. And do you take a bet on somebody that's up and coming, that's still growing in their career, that has potential? Or do you, pay the big ticket and, get somebody that's very experienced in their career? It's all about what you can afford and who you're willing to take big bets on, because the future of your company is in their hands. So that is the biggest hurdle for us. And obviously, after we hire them, how do we keep them engaged? How do we build a good company culture? Do we use AI to do that? How do we use AI? Like, what products should we be using? And how do we make sure that they're winning as well?
Wow. What do you foresee as some upcoming trends around how AI is affecting business growth in the next, I used to say 3 to 5 years, but maybe 1 to 2 years?
It's now. Yeah, it's definitely now. And I see it now. I think there's going to be a really big split. Businesses that shut and that businesses that grow. And I know that might sound like an easy answer, but businesses that are not integrating AI into aspects of their business to be able to grow, stay on top of the market, deliver on, the demand from their customers, stay edgy, they're not going to make it. I think you're going to see people that are struggling to close sales because other companies are using AI to be able to do it faster. So if you're not training your employees on how to use these types of products, encouraging them to go out and learn these products, and you yourself are not spending an hour every day or whatever time you have playing around and learning about the products that are out there, you will have a tough time in the next few years. I don't think AI is necessarily coming for you, if you will, but I think it's giving individuals or companies and businesses a massive leg up. And, why see your competition fly, if you can too. Use it.
Indeed. Any other advice that you might give someone that's at all hesitant about adopting AI, or how they could incorporate it into their business?
Yeah. My grandma uses it. There's something that she really does. She's very tech savvy, but it's funny. Nice. She calls it, I'm using the AI, which she really means I'm using ChatGPT. But there's nothing to be scared of. And I think at some point too, a unique thing you'll see is that people use these models and they're shifting away from Google search. You know how you say just Google it? Right. Google is now, when I look at Google, now I see what people pay for me to see, versus I'm going to some of these other models and I feel like it's not advertisements. The first page of Google is all advertisements, half of the page. Mm-hmm. I just want to get to the source of the truth. And I feel like these models help me do that faster. And so I find myself looking up answers on these models first before going to Google. I go to Google if I need a specific phone number or need to see operating hours, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But everything else, I use the models. But that's been a gradual shift. And I think for business owners that are maybe thinking about how to use it, that's a good kind of way to start thinking about it is, maybe I'm going to Google. Let me see if I can find an answer on Claude or ChatGPT first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a couple things that come to my mind around that is, number one, even when you do a Google search, first showing these days is what AI has come up with. Yep. And so there's the whole shift of going away from SEO and becoming AEO. And so that is very important for people to have their companies being discovered by and therefore showing in the AEO search results And then also when you were talking about, just going to one of the models and actually using it for research, there's such a deeper level as people get to know the ins and outs and the real levers that you can pull when using AI. Like, it's so much more than just the Google search on steroids. And so
Yeah.
everything involved with like prompt engineering or setting up an agent within that LLM and having it, iterate on things. It's really just sky's the limit as far as the amount of research that it could do, because it's pulling from
Absolutely.
so much. Yeah. So that's awesome about grandma, by the way.
Yeah, grandma's awesome.
Yeah, I bet. Fantastic. Well, as we wrap things up here a bit, is there anything more that you'd like to share about MetaIntro, or anything that we spoke about, during your introduction that you'd like to share some more about?
Yeah, I know your audience is primarily business owners, but if you're listening and you're looking for a job and want to use AI in your job search, go to metaintro.com and you'll see how AI helps the matching of jobs to your query or your resume or whatever you upload and tell us faster. So check us out at metaintro.com.
Awesome. And where else can they find you?
Twitter at MetaIntro, LinkedIn at MetaIntro, Instagram. We post some good memes. So
Okay,
at MetaIntro
awesome.
there too.
Okay, I got to go over there and check those out. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Awesome. Well, Lacey, this has been a pure delight. You're a wealth of knowledge. I wish you all the best on your upcoming year and all the growth that you guys are doing. And thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. My pleasure.